Hello everybody, my name is Caleb. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to kill processes. So, this is pretty much a way to send signals to processes inside of Linux to force them to do something. So, usually that's killing the process or closing the process if it becomes unresponsive or you need to close out of the program. So, you've probably had the experience where you're working on something and the program you're using freezes. It was probably a scenario where, let's say, you were editing some video or working on some project for like 13 hours straight without saving, and then the program just crashes. Sometimes when this happens, you have to force quit the program. In the world of Mac, you go up to this little Apple symbol and then force quit, and then you can select what program to quit. In the world of Windows, you can open the task manager, and then you could have some application which you end task. So how do you do the equivalent inside of Linux? Well, to see the list of processes that you can kill, type PS, and you grab the PID of the process that you're just sick and tired of, and you say kill, and then type in that number, such as 78364, which in this case is GIMP. Hit enter, GIMP terminated, and now when we say PS again, it's no longer there. So that's pretty much it. You might be wondering, why did I need an entire video just to explain one word, kill, followed by the PID? Well, there's actually a lot of other stuff you can do. So this will send a signal to the program, and by default, this signal is known as term or terminate, and it's kind of the equivalent of closing out of an application by slapping the X button. Sort of like you need to slap the like button. But what if a program is completely unresponsive? Well, then you need a stronger way of closing out of the application. So the way you do this is kind of funny, but pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to say kill, and then just to be sure, you're going to put a hyphen and then kill again in all capital letters, followed by the PID of some process such as this one here, 79942. Hit enter, and now that process no longer exists. So if you want to super kill something and not just kill it, then you'll just pass the hyphen kill in all caps. That'll 100% kill the process, and this is basically the equivalent of force quitting that process. So it's kind of strange, why do we pass kill in all capitals right after we issue the kill command? Well, pretty much the first kill, the lowercase kill, is the command. Then the uppercase kill with the hyphen is an option to this command. Well, there are other options, and all these options are known as signals, so we can pass different signals to this command to do different things. And you'll see this used in other commands as well. So an example of this is if we put something in the background or the foreground, we're actually passing signals. So I've already killed all of our processes, so let's go ahead and start another one. We'll say GIMP and put that in the background. And if we wanted to bring that to the foreground, we would say FG, and then back to the background with Control Z, BG. So when we issue commands such as Control Z, we are issuing a terminal stop signal, and then when we reinitialize that by saying foreground or background, we are sending a continue signal. We can manually issue these signals, so if you say PS to look at the processes, let's say we wanted to pause GIMP here, we can say kill hyphen TSTP for terminal stop, and then the process ID 181763. And taking a look at this now, it's currently stopped. We can continue in a similar fashion, but this time saying CONT and passing in that same process ID 763 here, and that'll continue the process. And you can see it's back to normal. You can get a full list of all of these different options by saying kill -L, and that's going to put a table. And you can see they're a little bit different here where they start with SIG for signal. That's optional, but you can do pretty much the same thing with SIG at the beginning. So if we scroll up to where we paused our process, we issued number 20 here, SIG TSTP. You could just the same put SIG here and it's going to work. So you can see it's currently stopped, and we could as well do SIG cont. There we go. So let's take a look at those again. Kill -L. So far we've talked about 15, which is the default if you don't give any extra options. We also talked about 9, which is if you force kill, We talked about pausing or stopping and continuing. You can also use the number here as well. So for example, if we wanted to kill the GIMP process, we would say kill, and we could use 9 here. So we'll say -9. It's a hyphen. It kind of looks like -9, so it's kind of confusing, but just know that you prefix with the hyphen there. And then 181.763 for that process ID. And there you go, it closed out of it. There's also 2 other important ones I wanted to talk about, which is number 1, sig hup. This is the equivalent of what happens when you close out of a terminal which has software running in it. And then there's 2, which is sig int, which is the equivalent of Control-C. So there's a lot of various ways of closing applications. So you'll see a couple of these in your lifetime, I'm sure. Now there's actually 2 classifications within these signals. One classification is signals that the application or the process receives and can choose to obey. And then the other, they don't have an option because they don't actually receive that signal. So when we used the all uppercase kill, this is not actually given to that process. They don't have the option to ignore it. The kernel's just like, rip, you're dead. So the other classification is when the process does receive the signal. And this would be, for example, the default, which softly closes a program. The program can take that kill signal and shut down. So to explain this difference real quick, if you take a look at 19 and 20 on this list, we have stop and terminal stop. 20 is received by the process, and that process has the ability to stop or pause, where 19 is not received by that process, and it will be stopped whether the process likes it or not. So this option cannot be ignored, whereas this one can. Another option is the kill all command, which will allow you to kill a process by name, but it'll kill all of those processes that have that same name. Say we launch an instance of GNOME calculator. It's like the hardest word to type, calculator. And we'll launch that in the background, and we'll do this a few times. And this software is handy because it will actually launch 2 instances. So let's just go ahead and launch a few of these. And now when we say PS, you can see we have lots of GNOME calculators. So what we can do is we can say kill all GNOME calculator, which I think you'll put the R there. Let's find out. Yep, there we go. So it terminated all of the GNOME calculators. And similar thing, you can also use signals. So if we went ahead and launched some more calculators, we could say kill all TSTP for terminal stop. Same thing as Control-Z. And then GNOME calculator. There we go. So now we have all of those processes stopped, and we can resume all of these with cont. So that's an introduction to kill, signals, and kill all. Hopefully this was a really helpful video getting you started in this world of killing processes. Be sure to stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to talk about... Yeah, I got nothing. All right, stay tuned. Peace out.